From 1st October 2024, there is an important rule change that has come up with respect to the rentals expenditures and the rental incomes that will be applicable for the GST registered dealers. So if you have any kind of rental expenditure or rental income, this video should be of specific importance to you. So this is the recent amendment that was made by the GST Council that met on 9th September 2024, and this is applicable from 1st October 2024. So what is the change that has happened under GST with respect to rental income? This is what we're going to understand on Commerce GYAN today. Now, those who already have a rental income, that is, you have some property which has been let out on commercial basis. That means it could be a shop, it could be even a residential property that has been let out for the purpose of commercial purpose. Then in that case, you are already, if you are registered under GST, you are already paying 18% of GST on it with respect to the total rental income, correct? Now, with respect to residential properties, that means if it was a residential property given to some person for residential use, you did not pay any GST even if you were a registered dealer. If a person is getting rental income, but the rental income is not exceeding 20 lakh rupees and there is no other business type for that particular person, then there was no provision to get registered under GST because the service limit for GST is 20 lakhs. So commercial property rentals were always subject to GST regardless of whether the tenant, that means if you are a registered GST dealer and your tenant, the person whom the property is let out to, is unregistered or the person is registered, but he is using it for the purpose of commercial purpose, then you had to pay GST on it at 18%. This was what the rule was earlier. Changes happened if there is a registered person who is renting out the property from an unregistered person. That means you are taking some property on rent. Rent पे आप कोई property ले रहे हो and the other person is unregistered under GST, but you are registered under GST, then this provision will be specifically applicable to you. Fine. Now, what is the change date? Of course, 1st October 2024. Fine. Okay, now look at this particular situation. Okay, let's understand this carefully. A person is, let's say this particular person is having a property and he is not registered under GST. In this situation, when he is letting out this particular property, there will be two scenarios. One is he is giving this property to a registered dealer, that is the one who is registered under GST, or the second part, that is the person is giving this to an unregistered person. So in these two situations, again, there will be two circumstances, that is this particular property is given either for commercial purpose or it is given for residential purpose. Now, if this property is given by an unregistered dealer to an unregistered dealer, it may be for commercial purpose or it may be for residential purpose. It does not matter. That means there is no implication of GST whatsoever. Now, what we need to understand is the situation where the person not registered under GST is giving this property to a registered person either for commercial purpose or he is giving it for residential purpose. What will be the rule that will apply with respect to such a property? So let's see the implications ahead. Okay, the first situation that we want to take into consideration is when you are renting out a commercial property. मतलब property किस type की है तो commercial property है. जैसे shops हो गया, किसी business के लिए है या फिर किसी और purpose के लिए है, where the property is let out for some commercial reason, not for residing, not for stay. Okay. Now in this case, there will be again two parts. If you are renting out a property, मतलब you are the landlord, you are the one who is giving this particular property on rent. In this situation, if you are registered under GST, then do you have to pay the GST on this commercial property? The answer is basically yes, right? if you are giving this property for rent on commercial basis, that means it's a commercial property in short, right? Then in this case, the rent will attract GST, whether the property is rented out to a registered person or it is rented out to an unregistered person, it doesn't matter. Fine. Now, second situation is you are a person who is taking property on rent. That means you are a registered GST dealer and you are taking some property on rent which is going to be used by you for some commercial purpose. In this situation, do you need to pay the GST or not? That suppose the person ahead is an unregistered person. So you are taking the property from a person who is not registered under GST. He doesn't raise any kind of GST invoice for you. Then in that situation also, now from 1st of October 2024, you are supposed to pay GST on reverse charge basis, RCM, reverse charge mechanism basis. So when the person, the landlord, is an unregistered person and you are taking a property on rent for commercial purpose, you will be paying the GST on reverse charge mechanism basis. Now, we already know what is reverse charge mechanism. Basically, it's something where we pay the GST first on somebody else's behalf. And then next month, we again claim that in our input tax credit. So that is what we call as RCM. Fine. So this is what is going to apply now from 1st October 2024 on commercial properties. Now, wait. There are a few things that you also need to consider. So you have to see this video till the end to understand this in detail. Okay, this is the second part now. Second part is stating what if you are renting out a residential property. That means you own a property or the owner of that property. And now you are going to rent out this particular property. So in that case, what should you do? So when you're renting out the property and you're renting it out to a person who is either a registered person or that person is an unregistered person, then what should you do? So if you are registered under GST, you have given the property on rent and the property is given for residential purpose to a registered person. Okay. That means you are registered, the tenant is also registered, and the property is given away for residential purpose. In that case, where is the GST applicability? The GST is applicable on reverse charge basis, but not for you. It is applicable to the tenant. That means the person who is taking the property from you on rental basis. You don't have to worry about residential property, even if you are given the property on rent. This should be clear, right? Now, what happens if you are taking a property for residential purpose on rent? Suppose you are a registered person and you are taking a property on rent from an unregistered person. Then in that case, you as a registered person should charge GST on reverse charge mechanism basis for that property, paid to the government in a month, and next month claim the benefit of the input tax credit. However, if that property is used by you for your own personal stay, that means I'm a registered GST dealer, I take a property on rent, and this rental property is going to be used by me for stay purpose. That means my own house as such, I'm going to use it for. Then in that case, there is no applicability of GST on it. Got it? So basically, when the residential property is taken by you for rental purpose, for stay purpose, but not for your stay, maybe for the stay of your employee, for maybe guest stay or guest house facility or any such thing, then in that case, the GST applicability, there will be GST applicability, there won't be exemption. Got it? Now remember all this while what we are talking about, the properties and the rental that we're talking, we are not talking about lodging and hotels. That is a different story. So this is not something applicable to lodging and hotels. Okay. Now what the main question is, what is the rate of GST that we need to pay on reverse charge basis in this case, or in the normal situation also when we pay rental GST, what is the rate of GST? The rate of GST is nothing but 18%, right? So if your property is, so if at all your property is within your state, then you need to make the payment of CGST and SGST. And if the property is outside the state of your residence or where you are a registered dealer, like let's say you're a registered dealer in Maharashtra and your property is in, let's say, Gujarat, then the property is situated outside of the area of your registration. So basically, it will be considered as out of state sale of service and it will be coming under IGST, right? So the property will be taxed in that particular section where the property is actually located. So if it is located in Maharashtra, it is considered to be within the state. If it is located outside of Maharashtra, like I am in Maharashtra, so I'm talking about Maharashtra. So in Maharashtra, it will be taxed under CGST, SGST. And if I have a property outside Maharashtra, but I'm a registered dealer in Maharashtra, then it will be taxed under the head of IGST because it is outside my state. Got it? So the applicability will be as per the place of that immovable property. Let's take this example, these examples to understand it better. What we are talking about location of the property. So if the location of the property owner is in Pune, location of the property is in Pune and location of the tenant is also in Pune, then you're going to charge CGST and SGST, which is of course the local tax rate of that state. Then comes, if the second example is if the location of property owner is in Pune, location of property is also in Pune and location of tenant is in Bangalore. It doesn't matter. Even if the tenant is in Bangalore, the residential or the registration or whatever of the tenant is in Bangalore, but the property is located in Pune, then you will charge CGST and SGST. Got it? Next comes the third example where you have location of property owner is in Pune. The property actually is located outside the state of that owner where it is in Jaipur, and location of tenant is in another third place, that is Bangalore. Then the location of property again matters. This is outside the state of the owner of the property, and so it is considered as in outside state sale and it will be charged under IGST. And finally, if you say the fourth example says Pune is the location of property owner, location of the property is Jaipur, location of tenant is Pune. But so in this case, if you see the property location again matters, even if both people, that is the owner and the tenant, are in Pune, it doesn't matter. Still, the property is located in Jaipur and so you will be charged IGST. Got it? So this is how you will be charging the IGST or the CGST, SGST depending on the location of the property. Now, GST is not charged even on commercial properties if these conditions, all these conditions are fulfilled. So you can just have a look at it, which is applicable for the religious trust and charitable trust, and where there is a certain cap on the amount of you can say rent that they charge. So if the rent of the rooms is less than 1,000 per day, if they are charging rent for that entire shop or space which is below 10,000 per month, or if there is an open space or hall given on rent and that again is less than 10,000 rupees per day, then they will not have any kind of GST, even though the property is commercial property. Okay. So that is a benefit given to religious and charitable trusts. So hopefully this rule change that has taken place in GST is clear to you now, and that you will be charging the GST on the rentals that you're going to pay to the unregistered dealers, right? So if you are taking a property on rent from an unregistered person, you are supposed to pay the GST on reverse charge mechanism basis from 1st October 2024, even if that property is a commercial property. So if you find this video useful, do share it with the people whom it will be further useful, and also put in comments if you have any questions, queries, and I will try to sort it out in the next upcoming videos on this channel, Commerce GYAN. Thank you.